This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
It is 4:27 on our Tuesday morning. Thanks for waking up early with us here on RTV6. I'm Lauren Casey.
And I'm Meredith Barrick. We begin with the Celadon bankruptcy firing, and this impacting thousands of truck drivers who some may be now stranded across the country.
Yeah, this message went out officially yesterday morning that they were filing for bankruptcy and shutting down after a long investigation, having to pay some money for some corrupt business practices. But really what we're looking at is the drivers, and we're working for you and the employees of that company, what you do next. The city working to help these folks out. You're going to need to file for unemployment. Several local companies here that do the same thing. Other trucking companies, they are in need of employees, so they're reaching out, say, hey, come work for us. We're going to help you guys out this holiday season. So we'll have more details on that coming up, because that is a big company here in Indiana.
And it could not happen at a worse time of year when families have so many things to pay for right ahead of the holiday season. We do want to take a turn now. Alyssa Donovan joining us. We had a very mild couple of days considering it is the beginning of December. Now things are taking a turn and they're going to feel much more seasonal.
Yes, notice that as you stepped outside today. Big change from yesterday morning. Yesterday we were in the 50s this morning, or that morning, and today we're in the 20s.
Wow. So cutting it right in half.
We really did, and it feels like it as you step outside. We do have those wind chills in the teens at many locations and single digits to the north. So you're going to notice that as you step outside. We're only warming into the low 30s this afternoon, so it's staying cold today with partly sunny skies. We're going to see breezy conditions out of the northwest, so that's helping usher in that cool, dry air. We have high pressure in control. We're going to slowly climb throughout the week, back close to average by Thursday and Friday. We're back into the low 40s, so we're not warming back up into the 50s. And then we do have more chances of rain and snow in the forecast just in time for the weekend.
All right, Alyssa. Well, speaking of changes, we do have some changes that NDOT is proposing to I-465, the busy loop that takes us around the Circle City. They're talking about adding some lanes, adding some sound barriers to different parts of the interstate to ease some traffic concerns. That's areas like the south side between US 31, the East Street exit, and the I-465-65 interchange. Also, the west side of town near 70 over to Man Road. So some big changes could be coming your way, and we're going to break down what is proposed.
And we are 2 weeks away from Christmas Eve. Time is flying. So that might mean that your Cyber Monday packages have started to arrive if they haven't already. And that means, of course, porch pirates are out. They are on the prowl. In today's Don't Waste Your Money, John Matteries is looking into ways you can prevent porch pirates from targeting your home over these next few weeks. That's coming up on Good Morning Indiana.
This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
Now at 4:30 on Good Morning Indiana, the sister of a Kokomo teen who was shot and killed during a suspected drug deal is now behind bars. This morning, the search for the suspected shooters continues.
And a newly reopened bridge on the city's west side is now causing safety concerns. Why one man says a guardrail meant to protect drivers actually poses a major threat.
And more construction could be coming to I-465. We're working for you this morning, looking at what the city is planning and how you can have a say in it. But first, here at 4:30, we do want to welcome you into Good Morning Indiana. I'm Lauren Casey.
And I'm Meredith Barrick. Alyssa Donovan is here, and you are bringing the winter weather.
Ooh, it is going to be cold out today. Huge change from what we saw yesterday. Yesterday, we were close to 60 degrees, especially for areas to the south of Indianapolis, if you can believe it. And today, we are only barely going to reach the low 30s. So a huge change in just 24 hours. Right now, 27 degrees in Indianapolis. It is 21 in Lafayette, 23 in Peru, but it feels a little colder than that when you step outside. Feels more like the teens because of that wind chill. We have these westerly winds that are helping usher in that cool, dry air, so it feels a little bit more like 14 degrees right now in Indianapolis this morning. Feels like the single digits to the north, so you're definitely going to need that warmer jacket today because we are only going going to climb a few degrees more than those 20s that we're seeing on the map right now. So what's going on is we had the system move through yesterday, that cold front, that brought us all that rain yesterday, and then it did leave that cool, dry air in its path. So we are going to see high pressure build in behind that. The good news with that is it is going to bring us some clearer skies, so we're going to see a little bit of sunshine throughout the day today, but we are going to see those temperatures only barely reaching the 30s. Some areas will likely only be into the 20s. We are going to warm up throughout the week. All of those details coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Alyssa, thanks so much. Here is a live look right now at traffic to the north, I-465 and Allisonville Road. Traffic here is pretty quiet this morning, traveling smoothly, both eastbound and westbound. No issues to slow you down. Let's take a turn down to the east side, I-465 near Brookville Road. You can see traffic here is pretty quiet this morning. We'll continue to keep a close eye out for any crashes or delays that might slow you down on your Tuesday commute. Here at 432, changes could be coming to I-465. The Indiana Department of Transportation will hold a public hearing today on a reconfiguration project. Now, this project would add lanes to I-465 around Marion County. One section would be near I-465 US 31 interchange and I-465 I-65 interchange on the south side. The second section would be from I-465 I-70 interchange to the I-465 Man Road interchange. Sound barriers would also be added near the added lanes. Officials say the project will help to reduce traffic and improve safety along that stretch. If you'd like to learn more about this project, you can attend tonight's public hearing. It will be held at Decatur Central High School in their cafeteria at 6 o'clock.
Developing this morning, the search for two men suspected in shooting and killing a 15-year-old boy in Kokomo continues. The boy's own sister now facing charges in the case. Police say 22-year-old Kylie Fisher and her brother went to Lincolnwood Apartments around 10:30 Sunday night, allegedly to sell marijuana. Officers believe two men got into Fisher's car. Someone fired shots after an argument. Those witnesses say those men ran away before 911 was called. Now, Kylie, who you see here, stayed at the scene where her brother was later pronounced dead. She faces several charges, including neglect of a dependent and possession of a handgun without a permit.
Back here in Indianapolis, Metro Police are investigating a homicide on the city's west side. Officers were called out to Edinboro Lane near I-70 and the Sam Jones Expressway just before 5 o'clock Saturday evening. When they arrived, they found a woman who had been stabbed. She was taken to the hospital in critical condition, where we're told that she died Monday morning. If you know anything about what happened Saturday evening at the Hidden Oaks Estate Apartments, please call Crime Stoppers. That number is 317-262-TIPS.
This morning, we are working for you after a concerned driver reached out saying this newly opened bridge poses a risk to drivers. The Dandy Trail Bridge on the west side reopened last week after an 8-month closure. But one driver says the new design has a major flaw. Bruce Wood travels on a stretch of Dandy Trail every day. He says a guardrail that is supposed to protect drivers could be dangerous, especially when the road is icy.
They've made it a lot worse with the way they've constructed the end of this bridge with this railing. It's stuck out right next to the roadway. And the roadway used to be straight through here. There wasn't the zigzag that you now have to make to miss this railing.
We took Bruce's concerns to the city. In a statement, a DPW spokesperson says reconstruction of the Dandy Trail Bridge complies with all INDOT and federal design standards, including the reflective striping, leading drivers to the bridge, and reflective signage alerting drivers to the guardrail.
At 4:35, a Hancock County farmer is bringing new life and fresh food to the east side of Indianapolis. Jonathan Lawler is the owner of Healthy Harvest Market at Brookside near 10th and Rural. The store is a dream come true for Lawler, who operates Brandywine Creek Farms. He wanted to open a grocery store selling produce that he grows at an affordable price in a neighborhood without easy access to food.
As soon as we opened our doors, we had hundreds of people tell us thank you. We had people that came in here and said that they had never shopped at the grocery store here before, but they will now be shoppers here because they can afford the stuff that's in here.
Lawler wants to hire people who live in the neighborhood to work at his grocery store. If you'd like more information, you can email us at workingforyou@rtv6.com.
Local efforts to feed the hungry got some big attention from a national leader yesterday. United States Secretary of Agriculture Sonny Perdue visited the Indianapolis Work One Center. He got an inside look at a job training class teaching interview skills. He also got to meet with participants of SNAP, ENT, an employment and training program to talk about the successes those people have experienced. Purdue says it's clear places like Work One are successful because they work with people on not only their skills, but their comfort level on learning new things.
The things that many of us take for granted, if you've been out of the workplace for a while, it's pretty intimidating. And these are the kind of facilities that we hope to help people provide a ramp up to a better life and independence for themselves, not a continued status of government dependency.
The SNAP employment and training resources help Hoosiers grow their skills, training, and work experience to increase their ability to get full-time, regular work, which can lead to being more self-sufficient.
Under mounting pressure from critics, the consulting firm for Pete Buttigieg worked for more than a decade, will allow the presidential candidate to release a list of names of the clients that he served. Buttigieg worked for McKinsey Company from 2007 to 2010. Reports of McKinsey's work for immigration and customs enforcement raised questions recently, prompting calls for more transparency from Buttigieg. He previously refused to release the identities of the clients he worked with while at that firm, but yesterday the company released him from a non-disclosure agreement.
The Wall Street Journal has ranked Purdue University as #1, citing cost and quality. Purdue has kept tuition costs flat for the 8th year in a row, meaning that after inflation, a Purdue education costs less than what it did in 2012. The Journal also praises President Mitch Daniels' deal with Amazon, which saves students almost a third off the price of textbooks. Boiler up.
Well, new details are emerging about yesterday's deadly volcanic eruption out in New Zealand. What we now know about the victims and how long recovery efforts could continue.
It seems like something right out of a superhero movie. See the new non-lethal weapon the LAPD is testing in hopes of reducing officer-involved shootings.
And we have a much colder start to your Tuesday morning. Temperatures dropped about 20 degrees overnight. We're going to slowly warm back to average this week. I'll break down the details coming up.
Test drive at Honda of Fishers.
Welcome back. Time right now is 4:41 here on your Tuesday. We're keeping a close eye on traffic this morning. This is a live look at I-465 and West 86th Street. You can see traffic here pretty quiet this morning. We'll continue to keep a close eye out for any issues, and of course, we'll keep you updated. Recovery operations are still underway on New Zealand's White Island after that deadly volcanic eruption.
Authorities say 5 people are dead, several others injured and missing, among them citizens from the U.S., Australia, and the U.K. John Lawrence has the details on the search efforts.
A violent and deadly act of nature in New Zealand. A volcano on White Island erupted Monday, spewing hot ash and steam as dozens of tourists were on hand. Among them, Matthew Urey and his newlywed wife Lauren of Richmond, Virginia. Urey called his mother after they were out of harm's way.
Hi, Mom, it's me. I just want to let you know, and this isn't a joke, the volcano actually erupted while we were on the island. Lauren and I got pretty badly burned, so we're at a hospital in New Zealand.
Officials say there were 2 groups of tourists on the volcano when it erupted. Some weren't able to make it off the island in time.
To those who have lost or are missing family and friends, we share in your unfathomable grief at this moment in time and in your sorrow.
New Zealand police say recovering the remaining victims and returning them to their loved ones is an absolute priority.
This is a terrible tragedy, a time of great innocence and joy interrupted by the horror of that eruption.
The chairman of the company that takes tourists to White Island told CNN that there wasn't any indication that the volcano would explode. I'm John Lawrence reporting.
A spokesman for New Zealand's Ministry of Health says its regional burn units are at capacity and that it is possible that not all patients will survive.
In what could be the very last case of its kind, a 93-year-old former Nazi guard is on trial, accused of being an accessory to the murder of thousands of Jewish people. Prosecutors say that Bruno Day helped facilitate the murder of 5,230 people at Stutthof, a German concentration camp occupied Poland during World War II. But the former Nazi claimed he had no knowledge of the mass murders that happened while he worked as a guard in 1944. He did, however, admit to seeing several people taken into gas chambers. Day is being tried in juvenile court because he was in his teens when he worked as a guard.
On Capitol Hill this morning, Democrats are set to unveil at least 2 articles of impeachment against the president. The charges include obstruction and abuse of power. The move comes after Monday's fiery hearing where Republicans continued to defend the president and criticize the process. Democrats say this is about a clear violation of the president's oath of office. Debate and approval of the charges could come as soon as Thursday and a full floor vote as soon as next week.
At 4:44, disturbing video out of Arizona shows a man pushing a woman out of her wheelchair and then running away with it. The incident happened 2 weeks ago at the light rail in Phoenix, and you can see the man here struggle with the woman to get her out of the chair. The woman resists, grabbing the poles on either side to help her to try and stay in place, but eventually he dumps her out of the chair and runs off. Thankfully, several bystanders stepped in to help. They got the wheelchair back, and Phoenix police arrested the man just 2 days later, thanks to thousands of people sharing this incident on social media.
Take a look at this. The chief of police for Los Angeles let himself be a guinea pig to show off a new non-lethal weapon. Chief Michael Moore was shot with what's called a bola wrap. It's an alternative to guns, tasers, or beanbags. Officers fire it at a suspect's legs or torso, and it wraps a Kevlar rope around the body, preventing someone from running away. The goal is to decrease officer-involved shootings. The LAPD is testing 200 of the devices at all of its stations for the next 4 months. For now, the wraps will only be used on unarmed standing suspects, not those running or moving. And Alyssa, I'd like to take a wrap like that and wrap it around the temps we had the past few days and pull them back here into the week.
I know. I wish we could too, but too bad, because it is winter and it is going to finally feel like it outside today. We have this cold blast of Arctic air that is coming at us. That is taking our temperatures way down from what we were at yesterday. We're barely going to scrape the 30s today, so that gives you an idea of just how much colder it's going to be. We are going to see a very slow temperature climb throughout the week. We'll be back to average by Thursday and Friday, just in time for some winter weather to hit this weekend. We're looking for the potential of a rain-snow mix over the weekend. Looking at our 24-hour temperature change, that really shows you just how much those temperatures have changed. We're 23 degrees cooler than we were at this time yesterday, so that gives you an idea. Peoria 30 degrees cooler, and Chicago is 25 degrees cooler, and then we also have that wind chill that is a factor. So temperatures right now 27 degrees in Indianapolis, 23 in Peru right now, 21 in Lafayette, it's 28 in Greenfield, but it feels even colder than that because we do have that wind coming in from the northwest that's helping usher in that cool, dry air. Feels more like 14 degrees right now in Indy, feels like 5 degrees in Lafayette, 8 degrees in Peru. So a much colder start today. That's all due to that cold front that moved through yesterday. Ahead of that, we saw all of that rain that moved through. We are going to see much drier conditions now as that continues to push off to the east. We're going to see high pressure build in today, and that's going to stay in control for much of the rest of the work week. What that's going to do is clear out some of our cloud coverage today as well. So we are starting mostly cloudy this morning, and then we'll see a little bit of clearing throughout the day. We could see a little bit of lake effect snow for some of you extreme northern counties as we head into the early morning hours, but for the most part, everyone is going to stay dry today with just a small chance of that. Then we'll see a little peak of sunshine throughout the afternoon, and then we are going to see those clear out by the evening, which means we have the potential to cool down even more overnight tonight, which means by tomorrow morning, those temperatures will be even cooler. Looking ahead to the rest of the week, today and tomorrow, we are barely reaching the 30s, and then we are climbing back close to average, above average by Thursday and Friday, back to average by Saturday, and that's when we do have the potential of that rain-snow mix as well. Today, starting very chilly this morning with those temperatures in the 20s, barely reaching the 30s this afternoon with partly cloudy skies. We are going to see some gusty winds out of the northwest, about 25 miles per hour, which is going to make it feel even colder. So we are going to continue this slow climb throughout the week, 40s by Thursday and Friday. By Friday night, that's when we'll start to see that potential of a rain-snow mix. Better chance of seeing that on Saturday, possibly lingering on Sunday, and then we have another hit coming on Monday.
All right, Alyssa, thanks so much. Let's take a look right now over on the west side. I-465 and I-70. Traffic here is moving along just fine in all directions. No delays to slow you down. Let's take a turn right now and get a live look at US 31, a little south of 116th Street. Good morning to you in Carmel. No problems for your commute. We'll continue to keep an eye out for anything, and we'll let you know if you need to reroute.
The CDC and the FDA are investigating a multi-state E. coli outbreak. It's thought to be caused by a particular brand of pre-made salad kits. Officials believe the likely source is the Fresh Express Sunflower Crisp Chopped Salad Kit. 8 people in 3 states have been affected. So far, no deaths have been reported, but 3 people have been hospitalized and 1 person experienced kidney failure.
Aspirin regimens are no longer being recommended to prevent heart disease or stroke for healthy older Americans. This after new research shows it can cause severe bleeding inside your skull. In an analysis of past studies of over 130,000 people ages 42 to 74 who were given a low-dose aspirin or placebo, the report found that those who took the placebo had a 0.46% of risk of bleeding inside their skulls. For those who took the low-dose aspirin, that risk was 0.63%.
Sports can apparently help quiet the background noise in your brain. That's from the study in the Journal of Sports Health. Researchers say the brain produces electricity that they can listen to for insight on brain health. But just like there is good electric energy, there is also interfering energy or static. Researchers discovered elite athletes actually have less static in their brains than non-athletes. Because of that, they believe those athletes can better process external sounds like a coach's call or a teammate yelling plays. Scientists hope to use this information to help better treat athletes with concussions. Very interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting. Okay, here at 450, raise your glass to one of the world's most popular alcoholic beverages because today is National Lager Day. National Lager Day is celebrated every year on December 10th. There's no particular reason for that chosen date, but who needs a reason to drink beer, am I right?
Amen.
The cold conditioning process used to make lagers distinguishes it from other beers. In appearance, lagers can be pale, amber, or even somewhat dark. However, they are generally lighter brews, and they're often described as crisp and refreshing.
2019 has been quite the year for the U.S. women's soccer player Megan Rapinoe, and she's closing it out with an even bigger bang. Coming up, the new honor the soccer star just received.
And coming up, all new at 5 o'clock, an Indiana congressman is pushing for a crackdown on obscene pornography. Details of his plan and why he could see some backlash. But first,
I'm Vinny Politan. Coming up today on Court TV, our continuing coverage of Florida versus Mark Sievers. Mark Sievers has already been found responsible for the death of his wife, Teresa. Prosecutors say, and the jury agreed, that he orchestrated her murder by hiring his best friend to bludgeon her to death at her home. Well, the jury's decided that he's guilty of that. Now they must decide his punishment. And the question today is, will Mark Sievers get the ultimate punishment for the ultimate crime? It's the death penalty phase of the trial. We are live in Fort Myers today on Court TV.
And don't forget, you can watch the all-new Court TV live on your mobile device by visiting CourtTV.com. We'll be right back.
For the holidays, come on home to Cracker Barrel.
Sports Illustrated has named soccer star Megan Rapinoe as its Sports Person of the Year. Rapinoe led the U.S. women's national team to a World Cup victory in 2019. It was her second World Cup win. Rapinoe is now the 4th woman in Sports Illustrated's 66-year history to win the honor in her own right. She is featured on the cover sporting her signature pink hair and a gown by Valentino.
Miss Universe 2019, Zozibini Tonzi of South Africa has been the internet buzzing after her heartfelt acceptance speech on Sunday night. The 26-year-old spoke about the need to change beauty standards. Take a listen.
I grew up in a world where a woman who looks like me, with my kind of skin and my kind of hair, was never considered to be beautiful. And I think that it is time that that stops today. I want children to look at me and see my face, and I want them to see their faces reflected in mine.
Well, you can hear more from her coming up later this morning on Good Morning America.
Oh,
she looks stunning.
I am obsessed with that dress and those earrings. That is a fierce look, and it kind of almost reminds me a bit of Ice. Do we have any of that out there this morning, Alyssa?
Ice.
Did you think I said eyes?
Yeah.
No,
what is she talking about? No ice out there today.
Okay.
So we got lucky overnight. All the rain we saw yesterday, none of that froze because we had such a warm ground from all the warm air that we've had over the past couple days. But everything's changing now. It's much colder to start today. We're starting in the 20s. Feels a lot more like the teens, though, because of that wind chill. Temperatures only climbing into the low 30s. If even that this afternoon, we'll see partly sunny skies throughout our Tuesday. We'll slowly trend up as we head into Thursday. We're back to average.